Okay, we are at the playground site, and as you can see, this is happening. They are, I don't know what they're doing, but they're making it bigger.
This is going to be his true legacy, and it will be the best playground in Stamford.
Teach a lot of children how to work and play together, how to get along, the sense of excitement, of friendship, the sense of purpose.
Okay. Awesome job. Shana Tova and Good Yontiv, everyone. I'm grateful to be standing here as your president, though I have to admit it is not what I imagined 3 years ago when Carl Weinberg asked me to be the first vice president. Of course, before I accepted, I had considered the enormity of it and whether or not I would have the time to devote to it. I discussed it with Jeff and Emmett, who was 8 at the time. We decided as a family that we could make it work. Jeff would be understanding about all the meetings I would have to attend, and Emmett would share all his great ideas for kids programs with me. Yet here we are, 3 years later, and nothing is the way that I pictured it or planned it. But that's life, right? Nothing is the way that any of us imagined it even 6 months ago. For sure, I couldn't have imagined myself standing here in an almost finished memorial playground at Temple Beth El, named for that little boy with the big ideas, while our congregation watches at home from computer screens. But what I have learned is that we adapt, we move on, we persist. This has distinguished the Jewish people for thousands of years. The other thing I have learned a lot about over the past year is playgrounds, as Jeff and I set out to build one in memory of Emmett. Playgrounds were a big part of Emmett's early life, for reasons beyond the simple joy of playing in them. When he was 4, we took him to an occupational therapist to figure out why he was having trouble writing. It turned out that a weak core was the culprit, so we were tasked with helping him strengthen his core. Our occupational therapist prescribed monkey bars, a fun and easy fix. We spent one entire summer at playgrounds as Emmett slowly worked his way across the bars, sometimes dropping and falling to the ground, but always eager to try again. By the end of the summer, he was able to make it all the way across, and his pride was evident in the gigantic smile that spread across his face. And the remedy worked. He turned out to be an excellent writer. So when Emmett passed away, just 1 year ago this week, we promised him that he would never be forgotten and that we would do good things in his name. We considered a number of ways that we might keep this promise before landing on the right one: to build a playground at his beloved Temple Beth El. And not just any playground. A state-of-the-art playground with the newest and most exciting equipment and the biggest slides. A playground that is accessible to all. A playground that will draw young families like the Pied Piper to Temple Beth El, hopefully to stay. And as you can see, we have just about done that, along with our village of engineers and designers, Emmett's friends, and a community of thousands who contributed their dollars to raise this playground up from a soggy bit of land behind Temple Beth El. This playground will be a place for kids like Emmett to strengthen their cores and to be with their friends, a place where kids can create community that will hopefully transcend the monkey bars. A place just like Temple Beth El. Temple Beth El is our playground, a place for us to grow individually and flourish as a community. As individuals, we strengthen our own spiritual cores by attending services and listening to a stimulating sermon from Rabbi Hammerman. We take classes with Rabbi Jerry or participate in one of Cantor Katie's meditations, which centers us amidst the craziness of life during a pandemic. We join committees that help us engage new members, and we can participate in events like the Women's Seder or the Interfaith Seder. But the core of Temple Beth El is our community, and keeping that core strong is critical to our members and to our community at large. We keep that core strong by engaging in acts of Tikkun Olam that support the Temple Beth El community. When COVID hit, our Re'ut group called all of our seniors, and Temple volunteers shopped for them, picked up their prescriptions, and ran other errands for them. Congregants called other congregants just to check in and make sure they were okay. We keep that core strong by engaging in acts of Tikkun Olam that support the larger community outside the walls of Temple Beth El. In the past year, our congregants have taken on some complex issues that affect our friends and neighbors. Our immigration committee, led by Belle Horowitz, has tackled some challenging issues concerning immigration in our own town and joined efforts to process absentee ballots in Stamford. Our Tzedek committee, led by Julie Rosenberg, has initiated a conversation between our Black neighbors at the Stamford Union Baptist Church, listening to their stories of the racism that they have lived with for so long. Both of these committees are ongoing and active and welcome your involvement. We keep that core strong by participating in mitzvah projects like the many food drives we sponsored this year, donating over 2,000 pounds of food and almost $6,000 to local food pantries. Our young families created hundreds of greeting cards, artwork, poems, and letters for our hospital workers, patients, and nursing home residents. We fed frontline workers and created homemade masks for hospital workers when they were desperate for them. We keep that core strong by making Temple Beth El as state-of-the-art and accessible as Emmett's Playground. In just a matter of weeks, we will start work putting in an elevator, a new entrance, and replacing the heavy wooden doors with beautiful, light-reflecting glass doors, a capital project that was made possible through funds raised from the capital campaign and last year's paddle race. We keep that core strong by planning for our future. This year, Temple Beth El became participants in the Harold Grinspoon Life and Legacy Program, joining with 18 other Jewish organizations in Stamford, allowing members to remember Temple Beth El in their estate planning. This will help to ensure the health and stability of Temple Beth El for years to come. We keep that core strong by coming together to play joyfully with our friends, celebrate baby namings, b'nai mitzvot, weddings, milestones, anniversaries, and of course, Shabbat services. And we keep that core strong by coming together in sorrow, to lift each other up in times of intense sadness and grief, as Jeff and I experienced this past year. We keep that core strong by working together to face difficult issues. Our reopening task force, led by past President Gary Lessin, has taken on the Herculean task of figuring out how to be safe while providing the community that so many of us are yearning for. These are complex issues in which our Jewish values weigh heavily. As of now, we plan to reopen slowly, starting with B'nai Mitzvot and the religious school, which is all, of course, subject to change. Emmett's Playground is supported by a cement foundation that lines the perimeter of the playground, a footing that keeps the playground stable and safe for the children who will play there. It's not pretty, it's a cement curb, but it is necessary to keep the playground anchored and secure. Your financial support is the cement curb for Temple Beth El. It anchors us, keeping us secure and strong. It is more clear than ever how important your support is this year, perhaps more so than any year before. In a time when so many people are feeling lonely, disconnected, and distanced, we must ensure that the Temple Beth El community remains robust. We need your help. We face unprecedented obstacles this year, as many of our members are faced with the financial challenges of COVID-19. In a typical year, your dues cover about 50% of our operational expenses. This year, we have already seen a decrease in these revenues attributed to the ravages of COVID-19. We have helped more families with dues assistance than we have in past years, and the requests have been greater than usual, widening the gap between our revenue and expenses. In addition, while we are committed to finding innovative ways to fundraise, it is unclear right now what our major fundraisers, Temple Rock and the Cantors Concert, will look like. I'm asking you to help me close the gap as much as we can. I'm proud to announce that each member of our Board of Trustees has already pledged a commitment to help us do just that. This year, I implore you to dig as deep as you can to support Temple Bethel and its good work. As an incentive, every family who makes a first-time gift of $500 or more, or a family who increases last year's gift by $500 or more, will be honored with a flowering tree in Emmett's Playground or the Matthew Klein Memorial Garden. Your gift will help Temple Bethel to grow, like the trees we plant in your honor. After Yontif is over, please punch out the card you received in the mail indicating your pledge and mail it out as soon as you can. Or you can donate online at www.tbe.org/donate. The late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that so often in life, things that you regard as an impediment turn out to be great good fortune. This pandemic is a huge impediment, but it has forced us to come together, to get creative about how to help one another, to show us how important our community really is to each one of us. Emmett's Playground will be finished in a few weeks, and I hope you'll all swing by, no pun intended, to see the finished product. I look forward to the day when dozens of kids will be climbing this mega tower, or sliding down this ginormous slide, or lining up to ride the gravity rail. It may not be for a while, but Emmett's Playground will be waiting for them. And your playground, Temple Bethel, is waiting for you too. A sweet and happy, and most of all healthy New Year to the entire Bethel community. Gamar Chatima Tova.